How to protect your wages from IRS tax debt garnishment. When you owe back taxes, it seems like the IRS will go to almost any lengths in getting the money you owe them. One of the most painful IRS practices is garnishing your wages. Garnishing is when the IRS takes part of your paycheck to pay down the taxes you owe. So now, not only do you feel the weight of your tax debt, you also feel the IRS breathing down your neck and preventing you from spending money you rightfully earned. The IRS is allowed to take up to 70% of your income. But that won't happen if you know what to do, and get the help of a tax professional to do it. In a minute, we'll look at the single biggest factor in protecting your income. But first, let's look at what could happen with the IRS, and the strategies available to you to protect your paycheck. The IRS can only garnish your wages if you have an overdue tax bill. The IRS has to send you 3 notices, before they can start taking part of your income. 1. They have to send you a notice and demand for payment. 2. Then they have to send you a final notice of intent to garnish your wages. At that point you'll have 30 days to respond. 3. They also have to send you a notice of your right to due process for collection actions. 4. They will also send a notice to your employer, telling them to send part of your paycheck to the IRS to go towards your tax bill. Strategy number 1. Make a payment arrangement with the IRS. If you make your payments on time, it will keep the IRS from taking part of your paycheck. Setting up an installment agreement allows you to pay your tax debt over a period of time, which can make it easier to manage your payments and avoid default. It will also help you avoid wage garnishments, by showing the IRS that you are making a good faith effort to pay off your tax debt. The IRS offers several different types of installment agreements, depending on how much you owe. If it's impossible for you to pay off the debt completely over 6 years, the IRS may even forgive part of your debt, and set up a payment plan for the rest of it. Or, you may be able to protect your income from IRS garnishment by negotiating an offer in compromise. If you can show the IRS that you can't pay the full amount of your debt, they may agree to settle for a smaller amount. They may also agree not to garnish your wages. Strategy number 2. Request a hardship exemption. This may be an option if you can't afford to make payments to the IRS. The IRS will review your financial situation and decide if you are unable to pay your tax debt without causing a hardship. If the IRS grants your hardship exemption, they will not garnish your wages. Strategy number 3. Adjust your W-4 form. You can tell your employer not to deduct any federal income tax from your wages. The only problem is that you can't legally claim this exemption unless you had no tax liability last year, or this year. But, if you take the opposite approach and voluntarily lower the number of allowances on your W-4, then more will be withheld from your paycheck. This might be enough to convince the IRS that you are serious about paying your taxes, and stop them from garnishing your wages. Strategy number 4. File for bankruptcy. This is a possible option if you're really in trouble. Bankruptcy can provide you with relief from debt, possibly including tax debt, and may stop wage garnishment. But even if it works, bankruptcy can have serious long-term consequences to your credit score, your ability to get a loan or a mortgage, and possibly even your employability. Strategy number 5. Challenge the IRS legally. You can appeal if you disagree with the amount the IRS says you owe, or if wage garnishment will cause you financial hardship. You can file an appeal within 30 days after you receive the IRS final notification of their plan to garnish your wages. If the appeals process is successful, the amount of tax owed may be reduced or eliminated. This may also stop the IRS from garnishing your wages. If you lose your appeal, you will have another 30 days to file your disagreement with the IRS appeal decision. If you lose your appeal, and you can prove that wage garnishment will cause a hardship, you can ask the court for an exemption to prevent the IRS from taking part of your wages. Strategy number 6. Get legal help. A tax attorney or other legal professional can help you understand your rights and options and can represent you in negotiations with the IRS. Great, but how do you know which of these strategies will work best for you, to protect your income against the IRS? As promised, the single biggest factor in protecting your income is talking to a tax expert, and following their advice. A tax expert can help you decide which strategy will work best for you. But, there are no guarantees. Having the IRS garnish your paycheck is a serious risk. Working with a tax professional will give you the best chance of protecting your income from the IRS, even if you have a large tax debt.
To get help with your IRS tax problems and tax questions, please talk to a qualified tax expert. You can work with a CPA, or other tax professional, where you live. Or, if you'd like to get answers to your questions quickly, about your own taxes, you can chat online now with a qualified tax expert. Just click on the link in the comments below this video.